Welcome everybody to this week's episode of Crease Talk. I'm Max Watkinson, joined by my co-host Luke Trotta. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on?
All right, so today we're going to be talking a little bit about the NBA. As far as I can kind of know, this year has been kind of an interesting one. A lot of different things going on, and a lot of people underperforming and a lot of people overperforming. So it's kind of interesting to see. We're going to open up as just kind of our biggest surprise this year. I mean. Um, for me, going off, I just, the East, I mean, it's been awful. I mean, I don't know what you think, but three teams over 500 right now. Obviously Cavs and Celtics have been, Cavs definitely have been above expectation. Celtics are right where we wanted them to be by now. And the Magic are the only other team over 500, and I don't know about you, but the Magic don't really scare me. So, you can kind of talk a little bit more about, kind of what the East looks like. But, for me, it's kind of a wide open race.
Oh yeah, for sure. One thing that really stands out to me is just the Sixers' struggles this year. Having two wins at this point in the season is just really not what anybody expected at all. I know Joel Embiid's been sitting out a little bit, but he's coming back, and like Paul George has been hurt, but I still think the team's good enough to at least be in the middle of the pack, not second to last in the East. So that's something that's really caught my eye this season so far. And also the Hornets right now.
Hmm.
A lot of people project them to finish like second to last, but sitting there eight right now, 5-7. I know the East is pretty weak this year, but I think they can if they can get 10 seed, make a little run for the playoffs.
I mean, what do you think it's kind of been? I mean, for me, I just watching over these games. I mean, a lot of what I think the East struggles is honestly defensively. I don't think they've matched up well at all, especially against, Western teams. I think it's been a tough watch. So I don't know if you noticed that kind of same thing, but kind of give your perspective on like why a team like, the Sixers have been so bad, or, why the Raptors can't win away from home. Why do you think that kind of like is?
I mean, I think it just comes down to like their defensive schemes and like I wouldn't say coaching, but just like how hard they play on defense. You can see the big difference in the intensity of the West. I know the West has very high-powered offenses, but you can just see the difference, the intensity, like in all aspects of the game, even for a East versus West team. So uh, I just think that stood out, just how hard they're playing, and I like it. I know home court advantage has played a little bit in the West, even when the East goes there, but still the East has been playing really bad.
100%. I mean, you kind of talked about it a little bit as, kind of a surprise, but the Sixers are sitting at 2-10. Obviously, Embiid has been out for, probably about half those games now, probably about 75% of those games. Why do you think they have been, two wins, 10 losses when you have guys like, Maxi's played, majority of the games. You have guys like McCain who's stepping up big time right now as a rookie. Paul George is getting back now. I mean, why do you think, they've kind of struggled? Do you think it's their depth, or do you think that's, coaching with Nurse or anything else? I mean,
It,
because from my perspective, I can't really figure out why they're sitting here, you know, 12 games into the season, they're sitting at 2-10.
I mean, it just doesn't look like they're meshing very well at all. Like just playing as a team in general. I just don't see them really going well together. I know their depth, they've been struggling with depth, and especially with Joel Embiid and Paul George being out these like extended periods of times. Uh, yeah, I don't know. They're just struggling so much, and I can't really put my finger on one particular like aspect of the game that they're struggling with. It's just been really bad all around. Um, I don't think Nick Nurse it's really been Nick Nurse's fault, but
I agree with you there. I don't think it has been either.
and especially with Embiid and Paul George, like they haven't really been able to play together.
Mhm.
So it'll be interesting to see moving forward,
And now
just like
Max is out
how
too, which
yeah,
is probably
yeah,
hurts further down the road if obviously if they get back into playoff contention too.
yeah.
So that's, we talk about meshing things, and obviously this team gets, a ton of attention all over ESPN, and, for reasons like LeBron and AD and being the Lakers. But, how well the Lakers have kind of meshed so far from a, standpoint, and seeing, JJ Redick, how good of a coach he's been has kind of taken me by surprise. So, if you have any comments on kind of how the Lakers have been this year, and has it surprised you at all that they've been, they're sitting at 9-4 and tied for third in the West right now?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. I think JJ Redick has done a very good job, and I think that's all it came down to for their success. Like they have the same team as last year. Last year, you can see the struggles with Darvin Ham. Doesn't have his hands in his pockets, having LeBron draw up the plays. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
don't know. It's gonna be fun watching this team this year, and I think they're gonna be able to make an impact in the West.
I know I'm a little biased. I'm a LeBron guy. I know you're not. I think it's more fun seeing, a LeBron-led team in the playoffs, because you just have coverage. Um, and I just enjoy watching this game. One of the guys on that Lakers roster that's really impressed me is Don't Connect, out of Tennessee, who's a rookie this year. I think last night he just had 27 against the Pelicans by the time we're recording this. Um, just how impressed I've been with him. I was kind of high on him coming out of college, especially out of this draft, which, wasn't rated very high. I thought he was one of the brighter players and can't believe that he fell that far. So kind of talk about, he's just put into the starting lineup. How do you think that he's meshed, alongside of LeBron?
I think he's just done his role very well. So he's been like a more of a spacer, but he also can get off the dribble. I think he's meshing with this lineup extremely well, and I don't know. I just think he's gonna just be a very big impact player for the team moving forward.
Rookie
And
of
I
the
think,
year?
yeah, yeah, I think he's gonna be in a have like a big role even in the playoffs when they make it there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, when we talk about the Lakers, the only person who can come to mind who's kind of disappointed so far is D'Angelo.
Mhm.
Which is kind of disappointing to see because you know how talented he can be, and you see that in Brooklyn, and you've seen that in Minnesota. So,
Yeah.
he's typically been pretty good for the Lakers. I know he gets a lot of shit, but he's typically been pretty good for the Lakers in the regular season. It's been the playoffs where he struggled. So it's a little disappointing to see now he's coming off the bench. So what do you think that this Lakers ceiling can look like if D'Angelo's clicking? You still have Reeves, you have Connect. Rui's been pretty solid for them. I mean,
Yeah.
80 is the MVP conversation, and you have LeBron playing, about as good as ball as he can as a 40-year-old man. So what do you see this, team as what's their ceiling?
I mean, I think the sky's the limit for them, honestly. Like if they keep clicking like this, it can bring back 2020, you know what I mean, the bubble, but I don't know, we'll see. Also, I heard you mention Rui.
Yeah.
So I'm actually a big fan of Rui. I think he's
Yeah, why is
playing really
that?
well. He's played really well this season. He's playing his role extremely
Why are
well.
you a
I
Rui
think
fan?
the Wizards and all that. No, I think he's getting to the cup, just having a crazy impact, shooting threes well.
Yep.
Doing what
No,
he does.
I mean, those guys have played their roles about as good as, they possibly can. We talk about roles and playing as best they can. We mentioned Darvin Ham
Yeah,
earlier. I mean, the Bucks. I mean, Jesus. You're sitting right now, it's 12th in the East. You're 4-9.
yeah.
Um, Giannis has been still very good. Dame's been up and down. I mean, what do you see the problems with the Bucks being so far? I mean, for me personally, I see it as, Doc Rivers can't coach.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a surprise to anybody in the NBA community anymore. You have Darvin Ham as an assistant who's, as you mentioned, hands in pockets. And Dame has been, up and down, and it's frustrating to see, I know, for Bucks fans. But honestly, in my opinion, I believe it's a depth. Like I think they just don't have the depth. I think they'll figure it out. I don't think they'll make the playoffs and get a mid seed, but I don't think they have the depth to win a championship. I mean, they don't have. We talk about trading for Dame. They got rid of probably, their best fit, which was Drew Holiday, who's killing it on the Celtics right now. So do you believe this to be a depth problem, coaching problem, or do you put the blame on Giannis and Dame?
I think it's coaching, like 100% coaching. I think they have decent depth. It's not terrible because they still have Giannis and Dame just leading them. But I know two players, it has to be a full squad to be able to win. But it's so early. I don't know. You can't really tell yet.
You
Being
can't.
what, 12 games in, 12 games in the season.
I can go back to when, gosh, I think it was like 2021 when the Wizards were like 12-3 through their first 15 and and then proceeded to like not make the playoffs. So no,
Yeah.
it's completely so early, but when do you get to the point if you're at like the All-Star break and you're sitting at, the same spot, like 12th or 13th in the East, do you
Yeah.
blow it up? Like is it done?
12 or 13, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be done. But I don't see this Bucks team getting down that far in the standings. So
How bad do you have to be to where you're like, yeah, we just got to trade everything? Like, do you trade everything while you're still in the play-in, or do you, because as I mean, we all know we well know, like just watching like the Wizards, limbo is like the worst spot to be in because you're sitting around the 7th to 10th seed, but you're not going to win anything, but you're right in the
yeah.
playoffs where you're not making the lottery and getting a good pick, and you're kind of
Yeah.
just racking up these mid picks. I mean, so do you think, it's worth considering if they get to that point?
Uh no, because they still have Giannis and Dame. I feel like it was in the Wizards situation. Like we just had Brad Beal.
Yeah.
It's not the
No,
same
it is
firepower,
different.
star power.
Context matters.
Yeah.
But the longer you wait, the longer or the worse trade value you're going to get over time. So
Yeah.
we've learned that when, people have, like Brad, for example, the Wizards held out 2 years too long to trade
Yeah.
him, and that really cost his value. Although, the Suns are kind of paying the price now, even with, only giving up second round picks. So, kind of moving on, we kind of mentioned kind of just a lot of disappointments so far, the Sixers and Bucks, but the Cavs, I mean, still undefeated at the time of this recording. 14 and 0. How long does this go? How long
I
does
They've been so fun to watch,
yeah.
honestly. So fun to watch. Uh it's a major surprise. I don't know how long they can sustain this, but they've been playing extremely hard, especially at home. They're packing the arena and then just getting people out there to support them, and I think it's driving their success.
One thing that I'm really happy for and, happy for him is Darius Garland. Last year he was, kind of clowned all over Twitter. I would see it on a daily basis of just this guy goes from an all-star and now he's complete ass.
Yeah.
Um, Seeing him kind of bounce back and turn into the player that we all knew he was capable of being is really big. And it's really big alongside Donovan Mitchell, who's been unbelievable this year. You can honestly put him in the MVP conversation right now because, they're 14 and 0 and he's, balling. I don't have the exact numbers, but he's playing efficient basketball. That's what I know. And you still have, Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, who's, grand. I mean, they're great
Yeah.
defensively. And you have Isaac Okoro off the bench, Max Strus. Like you got players.
No. Yeah, they have very good depth. Also Mobley, I feel like he's been a crazy impact player this season for him. I
He's
saw
really,
one, yeah, where he got the
I,
rebound. I just went coast to coast, dunked it right on somebody. Like
we talk about Alex Sarr and what we want. That's exactly what I want Alex Sarr to be is an Evan Mobley type. You don't?
no, I just don't see it happening. Like I just,
Okay. I
I'm not
mean,
a believer.
it's
Like,
it's so early. We can
yeah.
we'll talk about it later. Uh, but I think he's their impact player. Like, I don't he's not obviously going to be the guy who's scoring the most or even their second leading scorer. I think that's going to be obviously Mitchell and Garland on a pretty regular basis, but I think they go as far as he goes.
Hmm.
Defensively, the impact that he makes, he could be in DPOY conversations. I could see it. Um, where do you think this Cavs ceiling is? Do you think they could win it all?
I mean, with the East being so weak, they could definitely make a big run.
I don't see
Uh,
them picking the Celtics. I don't see it happening. That
I
team is
mean,
loaded.
I mean, I
You
you
could.
never know. You don't know.
Injuries happen, but
Yeah,
without injuries, I don't see them taking down a team that's yeah.
yeah.
Celtics
I
are
mean, we
just
saw what happened in the playoffs last year.
100%.
Uh,
Yeah, we did.
and it was pretty much the same team for the Cavs.
I mean,
So
unless, Tatum is awful and Brown underperforms, I don't
yeah,
see the Celtics losing in the East, at least not right now. I thought the biggest competition going into this year was the Bucks, and I don't think the Bucks have it figured out at all. So,
no.
um, or the Sixers, neither to the Sixers.
I
So
don't see anybody
that's
challenging the
no
Cavs or the Celtics right now, though. Like it's
right
still
now.
early to start figuring
I
things
mean,
out.
I don't going down the East. I don't fear the Magic. They're good, but I don't think their time is, here
Not
yet.
yet. Not
The
yet.
next, I mean, the next. I think they'll be better than what they're. I think they're 500
Yeah.
right now. They'll be better, um, but I'm not afraid of the Heat. I'm not afraid of the Pacers. So I don't know. I think it's the Celtics yet again. Um, Talk about, moving on a little bit, kind of like a specific player, that's kind of stand out to you. A player that's kind of flown a little bit under the radar. It doesn't really get, the media coverage, as other players do, either because of the market or, because their team sucks. So who do you kind of have in mind?
Well, this is gonna sound crazy, but Zach Edey.
It's not crazy. It's not crazy.
It's
It's
just he was getting so much shit like in the beginning,
the funny
but
thing is if you were to mention that to me when he was on Purdue, that he would be, I thought he'd be like an okay NBA player. I thought he'd be like Luka Garza, honestly.
yeah.
The impact that he made. But if you were to tell me that he's striving as much as he is in Memphis right now, and I think Memphis is actually the perfect place for him. Like I think that's a perfect fit alongside of Ja in the pick and roll. Um, I would tell you you're crazy if he was going to be a successful NBA player, but it's looking like he's going to be a great NBA player. So
No, he's been looking really good. He's doing his job, getting rebounds from the floor, scoring inside, protecting the rim. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how he kind of adjusts to the league, looking forward and just playing with Ja too, especially. That's really opened up his game and playing alongside Jaren Jackson. I think they're on the court at the same time, so it's pretty interesting. And the Grizzlies, that's
it's been, yeah, when those two
yeah,
on the floor, their paint defense has been,
yeah.
great this year. Um,
Mhm.
so it'll be interesting to see where the Grizzlies end up finishing. I hope they,
Yeah.
get a playoff spot so we can see them compete because, good Grizzlies team when they played in, I think it was 2022 when they were with the Lakers, that was an entertaining series. So hopefully they're back. For me, I've been watching a lot of the Blazers this year, and the one guy who just came back was Shaden Sharp. And the Blazers, for any of you, probably who most people don't watch the Blazers because why would you submit yourself to that? But they play just ugly basketball. Like it's stuck in a guy's hands, forever. You have Jeremy Grant jacking up shots. Simons does the same as well. So it's a tough watch, but Shane Sharp coming back, even when he played his first limited minutes against the Spurs, you could tell like it was just like different. Like this guy's got it. Um, I think he's averaging around 18 right now, coming back off the injury. Um, I see sky's the limit as him. Like I see him becoming a legitimate second option on a championship team down the line. I don't know if he's, that guy who's like a Giannis type impact of where he's can be that star on a championship team. Hopefully Portland can build something out around him because I don't think they have anything in the roster long term that's going to be there besides Shaden if they're going to win a championship. I don't see it with Scoot. I don't see it with Simons. I don't see it as Grant or Aiden at all. Like I don't Cleanan maybe. But that guy has been incredible so far to watch, and it's definitely brought a little bit more joy watching the Blazers at late nights, seeing Shaden Sharp play. We're gonna wrap this up as talking about our team, which is the Washington Wizards, and as we all know, they're not very good. We probably didn't expect them to be very good, and we won't expect them to be very good for a long time. But what would you assess as right now, kind of a grade to the Wizard season so far? They're sitting at 2-9, 13th of the East. How would you grade it?
Well, I mean, it's just bad.
Yeah,
Not playing
no,
basketball, but I mean the rookies, that's what's standing
yeah,
out to me.
yeah.
Rookies. I think they're playing well for the first season in the NBA. Bob Carrington, Keyshawn George, Alexander Sarr, like they're all doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
I think they're improving each game. It's just it's fun to watch, but so it's tough to actually see the team play.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess from my perspective, I didn't, think that they were going to win that much. And honestly, for me, if I had to grade it, I give him an A minus because what I've seen from Koulibaly, I mean, he looks like he's taking the next step. Sarr's been inefficient, but we kind of expected him to be a little inefficient, but he's been good in the defensive end so far. Bob Carrington has been, we questioned that trade of kind of why he made, sent Denny Advia to the Blazers in this kind of draft to where you get a low lottery pick. Is it really worth it? It clearly has looked like it's been worth it. He's been good. You have Keyshawn, who's surprised me immensely. That guy battles. I mean, great three-point shooter. Um, has exhibited great energy and great effort in the defensive end. Um, and if you could tell me that all those guys or all those four guys performing at a pretty decently high level, And we were sitting at 2-9, that would be dream scenario. I don't think it could be any better because we know we're still pieces away from building a championship. You need at least 3 to 4 more impact guys that we need to draft. The only gripe that I have with the Wizards so far is Kyle Kuzma. And yeah, he's been bad, and we've seen his role kind of diminish over these past couple games since he's returned from injury. But he still has a night like I I can't remember who they played. I think they were playing the Hawks, and he takes 28 shots. Um, and that's not valuable to the Wizards anymore because that's not what they're trying to build. We tried to get rid of him last, season during the trade deadline to the Mavs. Fortunately for the Mavs, he turned that down, which why would you ever turn that down for Kyle Kuzma? I just don't understand it. I mean, what do you think you do with him now? Because I don't, what is his trade value?
Does he have any? Does he have
I don't
any?
know. I don't know if he has any trade value. You can't really, I don't see a
Yeah.
purpose of playing him.
I
Because A,
mean,
it doesn't make the team better, and B, it doesn't accomplish your long-term goals. I'd rather see
they're still paying him though, and like you still have to play him. Like the team's not winning, so it's not really affecting like the wins losses. They're just losing every game anyway if he plays or doesn't play. So
100%. I think I'd rather see Keyshawn, get reps in the starting lineup. And listen, we saw what Bilal can do when he
mhm,
has the ball in his hands. And unfortunately, yet he hasn't become that assertive guy to where he demands the ball. And you have seen his numbers drop since Kuzma has taken back, has returned back from injury.
mhm,
I want to see, Bilal continue to get the ball because I believe he can be a great player long term and has shown that he's been a great player. I think he's averaging like 15 right now this season, which
mhm.
is above my expectations.
Yeah.
Another player that we haven't talked about it, who you know greatly that I'm not a fan of, or at least leading into it, was Jordan Poole. Um, and I gotta backtrack my statements. Like Jordan's been very good. He had 42 the other night when we at the time when we were recording this. I mean, what do you think has gone into, kind of his success? And you can see he's a lot more confident now. So, why do you
Uh,
think?
no, yeah, for sure. You just said confidence. I think he's just flowing out there, to be honest. He's doing what he was doing back in Golden State. It looks like a exact replica of that. So if he can continue it, great. But I don't know. I'm still on the fence about him, to
Yeah,
be honest.
I think the one thing that's, gotten me more on his train is kind of the effort that he's shown defensively. He's never going to be a good defensive player. I think we can kind of expect that at this point, but he's shown a lot more effort this year on the defensive end. I don't know if that's Brian Keefe, kind of like just what he's demanded, or it's just Poole feeling more confident and comfortable and he's better defensively. Do you see him, Poole being a long-term option in DC? He's still young, or do you see them trying to capitalize on any trade value?
I think we should keep him, to
Yeah.
be honest. I think we could have an Oklahoma City Thunder situation in like 5 years.
Mhm.
So maybe more, 5, 6.
It might take some time, brother.
Maybe a little more than that too now, but yeah, I think
Well,
we should totally keep him. I think he's been playing well.
yeah. I mean, for DC, it's all about getting the ping pong balls to bounce
Yeah.
your way. We were like one ball away from getting Wemby, which could have completely changed the course of where this franchise was going to go. Well, knowing DC and the Wizards probably not, but it could have. So, I mean, you just got to hope like some guy like Ace Bailey or Cooper Flag is a Wizard next year. Um, Obviously we'll get into who we want later on as the college season kind of rolls around and we know a little bit more, but it's definitely something to look out for the
I
future.
don't know. Flag was kind of iffy down the stretch to that game.
I would take Cooper Flag on my team every single day.
Dude, I don't know.
That guy is, uh, we can talk about college basketball and all that guy. Actually, I went Derek Queen. That's who I want.
Yeah, give me Derek Queen.
I went.
DMV's very own.
Yeah, exactly. All right, brother. You got anything else?
Anthony Davis, early MVP so far, NBA, 32 a game.
Let's talk about Jokic. I mean, Uh, we could discuss like MVP all that. I think what's kind of cool is, I mean, what sucks for Jokic, I guess he doesn't care, is kind of voted fatigue at this point. So it's kind of cool to see, more and more names. AD winning the MVP would be incredible, but at this time, you got to give it to Jokic. I don't know. I think his exact numbers are probably like Jokic right now. Last time I checked was like 30, 12 and 11. Like.
Yeah.
That's insane. And quite frankly, I've gotten to the point where if Jokic wins another MVP, we might have to consider putting him in the top 10 of all time.
I'm against that, but
It's but it's a crazy thought that he could be a four-time MVP winner. Like
you're right.
that's what other players I'm trying to think of, like Kareem, LeBron, Jordan, like Jokic. That's
Yeah,
insane.
it's insane.
I mean, if going off what you said with AD, like if the Lakers are a top two seed and he continues to have over 30 and 12 a game, then I could definitely see him getting it. But if Jokic puts up this pace and the voters aren't just tired of him, I don't think Jokic should have won last year. So there's that. But if Jokic puts up these numbers for the whole year, which yeah, and it is still very early. Like we
Yeah,
see this every single year. I mean, De'Aaron Fox has put up 60 and 49 for the
yeah.
past 2 days. I don't think he's carrying that over the whole season. I could be
Mhm.
wrong. I mean, but
Nobody
like,
cares about the Kings.
which is crazy because they're kind of good. Or
No,
at least
yeah,
they should be good. At least
completely.
on paper, they should be good.
Yeah,
But if Jokic puts this up for the whole season, I don't see a reason why he's not the MVP. I can't fathom a world where a guy averages 30, 13, 11 and doesn't get it. I mean,
yeah.
those are insane numbers.
Yeah, I mean, the only other person right now that's really like leading the race is it's just AD 32, 11, and
You could give it
2.
to, I mean, Shea's been all right. And they're leading the
Yeah,
way.
Shea, Donovan Mitchell, KD, and Edwards, Luca. Like, I mean, just going down the list. Like,
Well, I don't know if it's Luca. I
it
don't know.
could be. I mean, if you're looking at the odds right now, it's Luca's number 8. But yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
Donovan Mitchell's that one other guy that he's
yeah.
just spazzing. So I don't know.
I'm a big Luca stan, but he's regressing a little bit this year, and
Yeah,
it we could get into Luca talks forever, but uh, at some point, like, you got to pick up the effort defensively. I know you're asked to carry a huge offensive load offensively, but you're not winning anything just pouting and blaming your teammates defensively. Like you got to take it in yourself, and a part of that's also coaching. I feel like I was never a big fan of Jason Kidd, and I'm still not. I don't know what he demands from Luca. I think he kind of lets him float by. He doesn't look like he's very assertive to any of them.
yeah,
But if you're Luca, you have Kyrie now to help you on the offense. It's not like you're one man show by yourself like you were 3 years ago.
yeah.
So you got to put him more effort. So I don't see him winning MVP right now. I think it's between AD, Mitchell, and Jokic. Um,
Mm.
but it'll be interesting to see where it goes from there.